This is Pocho Salcedo, and we welcome our audience in Latin America and all those who join us from coast to coast here in the continental United States and Hawaii. Once again, inviting you from New York to a walk that goes beyond the headlines. Welcome to the DNA of the news. Successful organizations not only exist, but they continually reinvent themselves. They are not in a 100-meter dash. It is a marathon that is continuously run. This is the story of a multiple Emmy Award-winning TV station in New York with a team of 400 producers that cleverly had to reinvent itself overnight to continue its broadcast and production in times of highly COVID restrictions. Kareem Bland comes and tells us the story. Kareem, welcome to the DNA of the news.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Kareem Bland is traffic coordinator and head of the programming department at BRIC TV Free Speech. Bland has been at BRIC for over 20 years. He started at BRIC when it was first called BCAT. He works with two other colleagues and the master control team to ensure scheduling and 24-hour cable casting of 4 Emmy Award-winning free speech channels. Outside of BRIC, he's also a comic book creator.
And in the spirit of full disclosure, the DNA of the news in its English and Spanish version are part of the Free Speech TV and BRIC TV programming grid. Let us go back. Let's start now. And we started in 1979 under the fund of the Borough of Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Free Speech Public Access Initiative and BRIC TV, a non-for-profit community TV channel and digital network were created. Under what circumstances the initiative was born and what was it like then?
Well, I wasn't here in 1979. I was still in school, but no, I was a toddler. So yes, but from my understanding, the fund, which what BRIC used to be called in the beginning, was an organization that these concerts in the park, to celebrate Brooklyn. So that was their first project, right? And that's the staple of the fund, or BRIC, or the fund, what it was called back in 1979. As it grew, it added more divisions like the Rotunda Gallery in 1981. The Rotunda Gallery is an art gallery for artists to showcase their paintings and photos and so forth. And then it was in 1988 where the fund was given a mandate to help facilitate the establishment of public access TV. Okay, so yeah, around that time, Brooklyn got the mandate to offer the community public access TV. So they needed an organization to oversee that, to prevent any corruption and whatever the case may be. And the fund was already in that space. They was in that space providing concerts in the park, providing access to artists, doing for paintings, and etc. So they was in that art space. So this was just another extension of that space. So it was a perfect fit set by the borough president at that time. And Onita Kawa-Mayers, she was the first director of that public access station, which was at that time called BCAT. BCAT was short for Brooklyn Cable Access TV. And to this day, people still know that name, BCAT. So credit to Onita Kawa-Mayers for really putting the identity of what BCAT was as a free public access TV, and it has grown since. In 1990, we was only on 2 cable access channels, Time Warner and Cablevision. And then later, we branched into RCN, which is a small cable access service, and eventually Verizon. And Verizon came in like in the mid 2000s to get a foothold in Brooklyn. They wanted to compete with Cablevision and Time Warner and offer an alternative. And they was actually very generous in the funding, which actually helped develop Brick TV. A lot has changed. Before, well, I should say not Brick TV, I should say BIT, Brooklyn Independent Television. It's called BIT, which later became Brick TV. That was due to our borough president at the time, Marty Markowitz, and the generous contributions from Verizon, who wanted to really support public access. So they saw the need and they saw the good things that the organization was doing at that time and wanted to help it grow even further.
Well,
and long story short, we're here today as, well, Brick was originally called The Fun. Then the name later changed to Brick Arts, Brooklyn Information and Culture, and with the acronym of BRIC, Brick. And once our president, Leslie Schultz at the time, came aboard, they decided to just shorten it to Brick. Less, just shorter to say. And we, at this day, still trying to make Brick even grow further.
Thank you very much, Kareem. Now, 34 years later, you were not a toddler anymore. And in October of 2013, the organization expanded with opening the Brick House, a 40,000 square foot facility, about 3,700 square meters, where the former Strand Theater was located. The $35 million renovation included a state-of-the-art public access television center. Please tell us what changed with that improvement and how the community reacted and got involved with it.
Oh, the community was excited. We had a ribbon tape celebration by the mayor and the borough president at the time and other city officials. It was a big event. It was that was really under the leadership of our president at the time, Leslie Schultz. She saw how Brooklyn was changing. You know, after 9/11, a lot of stuff started changing in Brooklyn. You know, we got the stadium, the Barclays Center. A lot of condos start coming into the area. So it was just coming. It was transforming from, you know, Brooklyn, where the borough you don't want to go to Brooklyn, the borough you have to go to, right? And our president at the time wanted to take advantage of that. We was the only art institution with all these multi-media disciplines, from community media, art, concerts in the park. So, you know, she, you know, made it her business to make sure we, you know, benefited from that growth. And thanks to her networking with city officials, we got the funding to buy this building, the former Strand Theater, and making it to Brick Arts Media House that it is today. And before this construction, we were just utilizing one floor in this building, and it was very small, only one studio, to be honest. And now we got 3 studios. We have an art gallery. We have everything under one roof. You know, before we had this building, all of our organizations was at different locations. The Rotunda was in another location in Brooklyn. Celebrate Brooklyn operated in a separate office. And we had BCAT that was the only place operating within this little space. And now everybody's under one roof, and that was a testament to Leslie Schultz. That's why we named one of the art studios downstairs. We gave it her name.
Oh, very nice. Brooklyn Free Speech and Brick TV is the first 24/7 television network created by, for, and about Brooklyn. It is the borough's source of information, music, arts, sports, technology. You are in downtown Brooklyn, as you indicated, and you particularly are in charge of coordinating the interaction with about 400 producers. Tell us what that is like.
It's I would like to say overwhelming, but it's great because you get to meet a lot of different creators like yourself, a lot of producers who want to really express their voice, really break away from the media you currently see on, commercial television, and really want to, put a voice for the community. It's very important that we have this voice because, as you know, the media, some people don't trust what they, watch on CNN or, they commercial television. And, everybody in this borough, in this city, in this country, have their own truths, their own expression. And our mandate is to support that, give everybody the voice, the means to express how they feeling, what they want their community to know, what they want their peers to know, how they want to express themselves. And that's one of our missions, if not the mission of BRIC, is to support, curate, and encourage independent art, whether it's in media, in performance, you name it. If it's art related, we want to support it and give it that platform. And that's what we do.
Well, thank you very much, Kareem. BRIC TV has won 12 New York Emmy Awards, and it's nominated for 8 awards this year alone. This is an extraordinary record. Tell us some of those stories and the people involved in those productions.
Well, it's a combination. Some of these awards are nominated and won by by our community producers and by our staff from BRIC TV. So it's not just all BRIC TV, it's not just all community producers. One of our constant nominees and winners is a community producer who does an animated program. It's a musical, and it's pretty much about an immigrant from Italy coming to the U.S. And it's just wonderful. And he does this all by himself, which is incredible. That's why we like to support him and help him with the nominations. So what I mean by that is when we see shows that is done by our community that we think are worthy of being considered for an Emmy, we actually fund the application and nominate them to be in the Emmy submission. Anybody can apply for Emmy if your show is on cable access TV or any kind of TV channel, but it's an application fee. We will actually cover that fee if you have your show on our channel, and we believe that your show has a chance of earning an Emmy because we like to support our artists and our producers. And the same goes for the programs we do in-house. If we think we did a production that was excellent, we will damn sure put that in the running. And we have won. So that's just a testament of the good work we do. So yeah, it's just great. And we have our nice showcase downstairs showing off of the Emmys. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Our first segment is about to be over. We will talk when we come back about the story of how this organization reinvented itself almost overnight. We will be right back. We are back with Kareem Bland. He is the traffic coordinator and head of programming of Free Speech TV and BRIC TV. I want to talk about one period that was very pivotal on what you did. In March of 2000, New York became the Wuhan of the Americans, the epicenter of COVID epidemic that eventually cost the life of over 45,000 New Yorkers, with more than 3 million cases confirmed. Suddenly, the city stopped, but BRIC TV and Free Speech did not. What was that adjustment like, and what were the first steps taken?
Well, the first steps taken was, how are we gonna, that was the first question we asked ourselves when we got the order from the mayor to shut everything down. People had to work from home. The first question was, how do we operate like that? Because, as you know, we require people to come in. We have studios set up for people to come in. We had Celebrate Brooklyn, a big event we do every year. prime to go, at the park in Brooklyn, Prospect Park. So it was like, you want us to just cancel everything and just stop. And if you notice, TV shows didn't stop. They kept on the air. It was very important for us to continue, because if people was going to be home, they needed, an outlet. They needed something. And our producers wanted to continue producing, because now we have COVID. It's a lot of stories to tell now, because people is going through a lot. So people need to share what they're going through. And we had the platform for that. So thanks to our technology team, we got the idea from Fox, I believe, because we got some connections at other major networks on how they was planning to keep things running. We just went right to work. We increased our streaming. We already talking about doing these kind of practices, but COVID pushed us to move fast. So we just, set it up where we can control everything from home. So our master control operators worked from home. I worked from home. Everybody worked from home. This building was a ghost town. And we had to figure out how we're going to do Celebrate Brooklyn. And luckily, the artists wanted to continue to perform. So they came up with ideas to perform at their own locations, at their homes, in their own little studio. We actually, I believe we allowed a small production team to come into the facility, wear masks to shoot some things in our facility, but it was small, like 3 people, you know what I mean? And it was a lot of social distancing, but the operation was controlled remotely, okay? And it was pretty much like how we're doing now with Zoom. And we just connected to everybody where they was at, and we just went live, and we prayed that everything would work. And it did, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see this. And we got better over time, because we were shut down for like 2.5, close to 3 years. So every year when we had another event, like our Be Free Awards, we also did that through Zoom, virtually. And it was just a testament of what you can do when put to the test and your feet is put to the fire, and you won't accept, close it down. Okay, and our producers were creative too. They realized Zoom got a lot of business from COVID, because a lot of our producers use Zoom to produce their shows, and it was just wonderful. We got a lot of different innovative programming, and it also allowed us to realize that we're all digital. We're in a digital age. So we used to be on tapes, mini DVDs, super VHS tapes, physical media, DVDs. But because of COVID, we moved away from that, because no one wanted to touch anything physical. And so we, just move forward with just digital streaming. So you would email us your programs. You could download your programs to us, upload your programs to us, I should say. And long as it's a MOV, MP4, we get it on the air, and that works so much better. And it's just a better operation now. Yeah.
Well, it is amazing. And one of those events, you had live on the studio, and then you work with a team in Brazil. And you also told me the time we met that you distribute laptops to a number of producers.
Yes, because we had to give producers the means to edit their programs, because a lot of producers would come here to edit. So now, how could they come to our facility if it's closed to edit their program? So we, for the first time, decided to order laptops and let producers take the laptops and edit. And they would have to come outside. They would have to wait outside, and we would give them the laptops. Put on the table, walk away. They walk up to the table, take the laptop. They do all the application and request online. It was a very social distance type of operation. We moved away from that now, because there's no need for that kind of mandate. But we, since it works so well, we continue to do that. We allow producers to this day to come in. We serve a laptop. They could come home. They could go home with the laptop and take their time to edit their programs. And we found that producers actually enjoy that. It's a lot better than coming in and just having the edit bay for just 3 hours. it's hard to edit a show in 3 hours. I know I used to be a community producer, and I hated coming in knowing I only had 3 hours to edit a talk show, and it's like this, and it was on tape, tape to tape edit, so you can't even undo anything. It was crazy. So, and it was in real time. So, I just love technology and the way we advanced and moved forward. And despite all the bad things that came from COVID, a lot of good things came from it too, because it moved us into an era where we could do everything like this virtually, and be more creative. So it's great.
Well, you're the head of the programming department, so you you're very attuned of what people are watching. And what are your strategies to have a programming that's going to be reaching all these groups?
Well, we do have a YouTube channel. We're working on that. Brick TV has a YouTube channel because a lot of people gravitate to YouTube. YouTube is growing big, especially with YouTube TV. So we have that. We're also looking into or I'm looking into getting us to have a mobile app where people could download from around the world, so they could watch our content, our programs, and submit their content, using that app. So you could be in Brazil, say, hey, I want this to air on, Brick, and just through the app, send your show, and then we put it on the air. The next thing you know, you can watch your show on that app on your Fire TV or smart TV. So that's the ideas we're looking at, that how we want to branch out and reach a wider audience. So everything is streaming now, and people stream from around the world. So that's a great opportunity, and we definitely are looking into that, because that's the next step for us. Definitely.
Kareem, we also learned that you are a comic creator. What motivated you to start in comics? What is the underlying theme of your production? And what people are you trying to reach? What is your ultimate goal as you go about creating comics?
Well, to me, comics is just another form of media. TV shows comics is pictures and words. So it's storyboards if you think about it. And a lot of TV shows and movies start off as storyboards. So to me, it's the same thing. It's like you're reading, your favorite movie or your favorite episode, but you're just reading it, but you see the pictures, you see it actually happening. I've always been into art. I'm an artist. That's one of the reasons why I've been here so long. I joined Brick in 2001. So I've been here for like over 20 years. And I came here as an artist myself. I was a community producer, and, I love to do storyboards for people's programs, for my own programs, for my own video productions. And I love to draw. And I'm also a writer. I like to tell stories. And I love to meet fellow producers and hear their stories and brainstorm ideas with them and help them enrich their own programming. So I'm all about that. That's why, I've been in this position so long, because I just love what I do. And as an artist, as a writer, I just have stories I got to tell. And, I found that telling them in a comic book form, especially my comic book, is a sci-fi action adventure. So you ain't gonna be able to do that unless you got $100 million budget. So, but with a comic book, you could tell that story, and go, over the top without spending too much money on a budget. So it's a safe way, a more economic way to tell a story with no limits. And I don't like limits. And so I started this project back in college, and it was a big hit as a comic strip in college. And I just continued it now to a comic book, and it's been doing pretty well. It's been doing pretty well. I got promoted on our Brooklyn Free Speech Award program. I promoted my comic book on a Brooklyn Free Speech Award show earlier this year. So, like I said, Brick is all about supporting and nurturing and cultivating our producers, artists, whether it's in media, in painting, and performance, or in my case, comics. And, so they show that support, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate you for letting me, talk about it for a little bit. And it's about diversity. It's a sci-fi adventure with a diverse cast of characters, because I feel in the future we're all gonna be in this universe together and enjoying, countless adventures and seeing where life takes us. So it's called Dre Saturn, Child of the Orb. And if people want to learn more about it, they could go to dresaturn.com. That's DRESATURN.com. And you can follow me on Instagram on my IG at Dre_Saturn to learn more about it. But just check it out. It's for all ages, mainly for young teens, but adults could get into it as well if they're into comics. And yeah, it's pretty much a coming of age story about how we were when we were young and the choices we make and the consequences of those choices, just told in a fantasy sci-fi world.
Thank you very much. Through you, I want to express my admiration for the vision of free speech and Brick TV. You are at the epicenter of communications in New York. All major networks of the country are here, and you don't miss a step. Wanting to have the highest level of programming, you see yourselves not only as part of the community, but as the expression of the community, in this case, Brooklyn. Congratulations again. For your endeavors and for what you do for free speech and Brick TV. Thank you.
But thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you.
Public television in the U.S., especially those embedded with deep roots in their communities, provide invaluable service and are an important source of information where they serve. They are the strongest expression of democracy and free expression in communities, and their importance and relevance cannot be overstated. Free speech and Brick TV are an example of that spirit and service. Thank you very much for the time you spent with us here at the DNA of the News. We look forward to seeing you next week.